The law of demand and the law of supply are core economic concepts, and if they do not hold, well, then a lot of economic theory is going to collapse with them. Now, the great news is that while at a glance you hear it's a law, you know it's important, it must hold, or your entire understanding of economics is going to collapse. These laws are very intuitive. They're very just common sense kind of laws if we're being real. The law of demand states that as price increases, as things become more expensive, consumers are going to demand less. That is why your demand curve is downwards sloping. As price goes up, people want to buy less items. And that makes sense. If you can buy something for $1, you're going to want all the way over here a lot of the product. But if that same product increases to maybe $10, well, you're going to want a lot less of the product. That makes intuitive sense. There is an inverse negative relationship between price and quantity in the context of demand. The law of supply states essentially the exact opposite. As price increases, the people who are bringing out the supply, the suppliers, the firms, the businesses, they want to make and sell more. So their curve is upward sloping. There is a positive relationship between price and quantity in context of supply. So if you can sell an item for $10, then you're going to want to go all the way over here and you're going to want to supply a lot of the product. But if it's only going to be selling for about $1, well, you're not going to want to supply because you're not making a lot of money. And that is all there is to it, the law of demand and the law of supply. As price goes up, you want to buy less if you're a consumer, and if price goes up, you want to supply more if you are a supplier. You can consider the law of demand and the law of supply trusty friends you are keeping forever in your back pocket. You can assume the vast majority of the time that both of these laws hold. And often you might even see that the answer to a question on your exam basically relies on the fact that the law of demand and the law of supply holds. Everything in economics is essentially built around this. Now, with that said, a quick disclaimer. Technically, we can say that there are some exceptions to this. The first and main one that comes to mind for me is the Giffen good, and that is a fun little concept that breaks the law of demand. Giffen good is a good that as price increases, people want more of it. Now, this is funny because my professor likes to talk about this a lot, and he's brought up the fact that he doesn't really think there's a good, pure example of a Giffen good in the real world. And truthfully, I think he's right. You could consider maybe something like a fancy car being a Giffen good because consumers may think that the more expensive car is better, and so they want more of it. But is that really a Giffen good, or is that kind of picking between different items that are expensive? I don't know. You'll have to let me know your thoughts on the Giffen good. But besides that, sure, there are some other things we could talk about. But for the most part, let's just assume that the law of demand and the law of supply always hold, unless you're told otherwise. Good luck with your studies, and I will see you next Monday with another video.